It, it's been a pleasure to be speaking at B-Sites Calgary. I have just one set of monitor with me, so I might be switching the applications, and that those switchings would be displayed right in front of you to see what's coming in chat. So let's start. My name is Salman Khwaja. I would be sharing with you the true story of application security scaling efforts in a fintech, or how we developed devs, how we implemented DevSecOps in that fintech. Uh, who am I? I am a manager application security in TPS Pakistan in my day job, and in my free time, or let's say after the day job, I am a certified ethical hacker. I am a Asana certified pro, and I am running the OWASP Karachi chapter. Um, OWASP is basically an open source web application security project. I think everyone knows that in this community, and I am running the Pakistan Karachi chapter of that community. My profile links, my social media links are right in front of you to contact me further. So, what is TPS, the company that I'm working for? It's a fintech company which is providing solutions to banks of Pakistan payment space, and we have different proprietary products which enable banks to provide different services over different channels. One could take a big spectrum. This is the spectrum of our payments offering that we provide to banks of Pakistan and to many different banks of abroad. I won't be going into details, but you could see there are digital banking, there are mobile commerce, there are digital wallets, then there are channel banking. That means there is one state bank of a country, and through that state bank, many other different banks of the same country are connected. Then we are doing something on robotic process automations as well. Then we are providing open API platform. We are providing payment gateways as well, which payment gateways are generally implemented in one country. So wherever you see electronic payments, we are providing some solutions of it, and our solutions are more dynamically implemented in an organization. So that's the full spectrum of our payment products. You could see different logos of our companies that we are offering right now, different clients that we are doing. We are giving solutions to OneLink. OneLink is basically the central, you could say, central controlling bank in Pakistan. Then we are giving solutions to Central Bank of UAE, that is United Arab Emirates, to name a few. And in other words, we are providing solutions to microfinance banks. We are providing solutions to telecoms and fintech. Then we are providing solutions to exchange houses. Then we are providing solutions to central banks and national payment processor. Three payment processors we are doing that, and then we are doing commercial banks as well. So the reason to tell you what is my company is offering is the wide spectrum of the products that is being offered, and what if a hack is done on the same platform? What would happen? And recently, a hack was done in Pakistan, and if people are in security, um, they would know what is the hack that I'm talking about. So today's talk agenda would be the story of hack in major bank of Pakistan and the problems that came along with it. We saw the opportunity, we started fixing it, and then we implemented SecDevOps or SSF in our organization. It's a story, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. So the hack was done in 2018, few years back. 6 million USD were lost in 23 minutes of cyber attack. The hack was done in Bank Islami. You could see the URL, the date, and everything else, and the URL itself says a lot about the hack. Um, this this bank was not our client, but yes, it was running on the same technology stack. So after that hack was done, all the financial institutes in Pakistan, they started thinking about how do we protect these things. Even our regulator, that is State Bank, it has it gave many mandate to all the banks that you have to do vulnerability assessments every 3 months regularly, and the banks didn't used to do those assessments. So, and on top of it, regulator speed was slow, um, with comparison to the 0-day attacks coming from all sorts of attack vectors. So that was the challenge that we had to face. Basically, when we what we realized is, there were three types of things that we need to address. One is people, process, and platforms, and this is based a general triad that has to be looked into. For people, in my organization, we have the capacity issue. We have 100 developers. To For those 100 developers who are churning out the payment application, new features, new code, we had 30 QA engineers. Now those QA engineers are um, functional QA engineers, and to top it all off, we have only 4 application security engineers. So that's the ratio that we are going towards. And with that ratio, we are just left with nothing but to do automation and manual testing accordingly, or at the same time. When we come to process, as a fintech, we had to deal with card payment industry, and as a card payment industry, we are dealt with PCI Council's PADSS guidelines. PCI Council says that whenever card details are asked in a payment environment, if they are stored, if they are processed, if they are transmitted, certain you have to do certain things in your application. You have to encrypt the data. You have to encrypt the data when it is in transit, when it is at rest, and when it is being input in the browser. So those things are there. I won't be going into details about PCI standards, but we are mandated to certify our products with PADSS. That was Payment Application Data Security Standards, and now the PADSS has been retired. New guideline is coming forward, which is Software Security Framework, and that talks not only on card payments, that generally talks about the whole software, the whole payment, the whole security around payment. So in terms of platform or technology, we have to stay abreast with the latest technology being used, and apply basic level of updation, which has to be much faster than the slow speed of financial institutions, or let's say our regulators. And we should be able to match the speed of 0-day threats coming towards us. So that was the basic challenge that we were faced. So what we did, we hired the best people who were the top of the line security engineers. We went to the community. I actually went to the community and hired bug bounty hunters, which um, who were actually doing bug bounties on different applications. I scoured the internet, bug crowd, HackerOne, every place I could find those people who were doing bug bounties, and then I asked them if they are willing to come and join my team. On process aspect, we went in and we studied all the processes of PCI, all the process of AppSec, all the process of OWASP, and then we started implementing them. And on the platform thing, we started doing automations, which I would be telling you. So first things first, OWASP, we grabbed the ASVS, WSTG, Application Security Verification Standard, Web Security Testing Guide, and then on mobile end, we grabbed Mobile Application Security Verification Standard, Mobile Security Testing Guide. We grabbed OWASP cheat sheets, and we actually went through all of them and started implementing the bits and pieces of these standards into our manual testing and bits and pieces of these standards into our automated testing. So if we talk about security pipeline, which is a secure dev pipeline, it basically revolves around business requirements, design, development, testing, implementation, maintenance. And if you implement different things in between, different review cycles, different security review cycles, I should say, that would be requirement review and doing the threat modeling, followed by doing static analysis security testing, and then dynamic analysis security testing, some aspect of interactive analysis security testing, IAST comes over here as well. Then we started doing support documentation and then SDL. So basically, these are the things that in community people do say we have to implement it, but we took a different approach. We took the reverse approach. So what we did in reverse approach, all our applications were being um, vulnerability assessment. Vulnerability assessment was being done to all our applications. So I was getting all the reports from many sorts of banks and everywhere else. So what I did was I went in and put all those applications in one Excel, and I started categorizing them. So you could see the real issues that are being reported. What I have done is I have changed the bank names and the product names of my company, and I have basically redacted them. But the issues are real, the categorizations are real, and these categorizations are real. So what I did was I went and took the past last 6 months penetration testing reports. I started writing the main issues that was being reported, the categorization that was being done, and what we have to do in terms of fixing that issue. Now, if I foresee it in terms of fixes, there are only three types of fixes that could be done in an application. One could lead to server hardening, the other could lead to code fix, and the third one is the hybrid approach. So I just wrote that this is server hardening, this is code fix, and then I did a small pivot to see what's the ratio behind it. So if I look at one product, that is product 6, we could say we could see that 6 of them are of server hardening and only one is of code fix. Once again, 80-20 ratio, 85%, 14%. So if I take any random all the products, and if I take any random bank, so it is almost clear picture of 80-20. The result was once again 80-20 towards us, that 80% were server configuration issues, the 20% of those issues were related to code fixes. So we started doing we started documenting all the stuff, and whenever the bank's personals were coming and asking me that, hey, do I have to harden the IIS, or I have to harden the Apache, what should I be doing? So basically I documented everything in one nice document, and these documents are basically what OWASP has done in a much nicer way, but I made them available in a user friendly format for my audience. And this is still being maintained with OWASP. Like when OWASP changes some stuff, I come and change over here. So that was done for maintenance phase. For system hardening phase, we took the CIS hardening guidelines and we implemented them in our web server. And right now we are doing automated IAS hardening and Apache hardening through PowerShell scripts and through Bash scripts. Those scripts are also provided by CIS, but we have taken the CIS benchmarks freely available from the CIS website, and we made our own proprietary hardening guides. For operating systems, for database, and for networks, the way in which we are operating our client usually does the hardening for them. So that was taken care from system hardening perspective. And then we went towards secure deployment. We made our own deployment engine, which deploys our proprietary software along with doing the hardening of these things as well. So from the aspect of next comes the aspect of DAST, that is dynamic application security testing. We started using OWASP Zap. We started using Burp Suite. We did complete OWASP Zap automation through OWASP Zap APIs. And yes, this tool has helped us a lot in doing an automated testing. um, so basically, whenever an engagement comes, we first do the automated testing through OWASP Zap for like first 2 days, and then we have a basic level of assurance that we have covered around 50% of the application, and then we do the manual security testing. Um, so one more important thing that I would like to highlight is TPS is developing software as a product. Like one product is deployed on several different banks. So if I do the security testing of one product, and if I save that session, the same session could be replayed on different projects of the same product. So that's one of the good things that I'm enjoying in my security arena. The future plans would be to implement Kali tools inside DAST. We have implemented Test SSL, we have implemented Nmap scan as well, and we might be implementing automated reporting things as well. So minimize the reporting aspect of security engineers. On SAST, static application security testing, we implemented SonarQube. SonarQube is basically a software which works on plethora of different programming languages ranging from C Sharp, from Java, from Java servlets, from Flutter, from Dart to PHP to many other languages. And it provides code reliability management, technical debt, and then it provides security hotspots and vulnerabilities as well. So we implemented SonarQube in our source control, and yes, it does provide a very good documentation about implementing in source control. And whenever a developer checks in a code, it goes through SonarQube, and it scans, and then it provides a gateway rating about whether or not the code is good enough to go into the repo. And if it doesn't go into the repo, it goes back to review for the same developer or the senior developer who would take a look at what where did things go wrong. Then we implemented OWASP dependency check. This is also a very good tool. It basically goes through the feeds of NIST, Nitre, and I might be forgetting one thing, but vulnerable database, VulDB, one open vulnerable database. It goes through these things, and then it checks with your code whether or not the old components of your code or the third-party components you have implemented in your code are retired or not, or if they are having some security vulnerabilities, it lists that as well. And yes, we have implemented in our security pipeline. Future plans would be to implement OWASP dependency track, Sonar type, and to check credentials inside our code. For designing, we have implemented threat modeling through Microsoft threat modeling in design time. We might be introducing to play evil games or brainstorming sessions to really think about the new features that we are developing, what could go wrong and how it could go wrong in design time. So, and lastly, we did security trainings as well. We provided OWASP top 10 to developers. We provided generalized PADSS trainings to all users. Then we provided specialized trainings to all developers. Then we provided PADSS in plain English to project managers or business developers, business BD, personnel who were directly facing the customers. My future plan is to run a private CTF in our organization, just like CTF is being run in this conference. Um, Lastly, we did trainings across the board, which is related to general browsing habits and all those things. And then we implemented an LMS as well. So basically, all the trainings that I've been providing, it really it doesn't make sense to do those trainings every 3 months. And I am a big fan of doing recordings, so I could plan, implement, and execute a training, but I would like to do it once and for good. And until the content gets old, I'd like it to that content to be replayed, and it all the newcomers, all the existing people who might not attend that training, they could go through those recordings as well. So the LMS was a very good thing that was done, not for only security things, but all the trainings aspect of the whole organization. um, I would like to thank all the people. I am really standing on the shoulders of giants: security community, CIS community, OWASP ZAP community, Burp Suite community, Microsoft SDL network, Twitter threads of InfoSec, AppSec, Stack Overflow, GitHub open source repositories, and of course my team. My future plans again would be to implement CTFs, dependency track. OWASP SAM is a very good project, and I'd like to implement it in from management from top to towards bottom. Sneak is another very good, very nice tool which provides a developer, to to the extent of saying, look, you have implemented this third party tool and it is having this vulnerability, and this version of that third-party tool fixes that vulnerability. It goes to one step ahead. With this, I'd like to close the floor, and I'd like to open the floor for any further questions. Thank you. Thank you. Um, if there are any further questions, I'd love to take it. Okay. The question: did they have to report the incident to PCI Council? Sharifat, I think the banks where our applications are running, if they do go through a breach, yes, they are bound to report those incident to PCI Council. Um, I do not know about the hack that I have mentioned, the Bank Islami. It might have been reported. That's why it was circulated in the whole security industry. But yes, the banks and the payment industry, they are bound to report these things to private networks. But reporting is generally done in terms of, not publicly it is being reported. It is reported in a very, you could say, subtle manner. If you go through OWASP top 10, the reason why OWASP top 10 is called top 10 is because OWASP actually takes all the breaches that are being done every 2-3 years, whatever the cycle is, and then they publish the um, top 10 of those breaches. And the reason they say top 10 is because they say that, look, we have gone through the breaches of whatever world, the whole breaches that are being done over the world, and then these are the top 10 threats that have been used in those breaches, and if you protect your application on those top 10, you have basically applied 80/20 rule. So so I guess there is a system called Verisys, if I'm not wrong. That system is being used to analyze all the threats, and in terms of reporting, basic generalization, it goes like there's always a difference between incidents being reported and incidents being happening and they are not being reported. So that gap would always be there, whether that gap is on actual murder crimes or cyber attacks. I hope I have answered your question. Most welcome. If you do have any further questions, you could also leave it to my LinkedIn and Twitter. I am sharing it right now. Lots of great information here. Thanks, Salman. If a small business needs to be PCI compliant, what would be your advice to those? Well, Malik, going for PCI compliance is a very tedious task in terms of experience in Pakistan. But yes, for those uh, the the process that an organization goes through is basically for the betterment of that organization. And yes, my advice would be to go for PCI compliancy, but you have to see what you are dealing with. If you are a small organization and you are dealing with card payments, that is, you're accepting payments through cards, through payment cards, or you're doing some tokenization, or what Netflix or Amazon Prime does, then yes, PCI, you are in scope of PCI. So if you are in scope of PCI, it would always be good to get PCI certified, because PCI certified basically, uh, tests you or audits you on all those three aspects of people, platform, and process. So and generally, if you look at any breach that is being done, uh, it is done on breach of these three areas. I hope I have answered you, Malik, there. Could you briefly compare PCI DSS and PCI SSF? Definitely, yes. Okay, so PCI DSS is applied on all those organizations that are actually in production environment, that are processing the card data, where the card data is being either transmitted, either stored, or is being processed. So you could be a payment gateway where you're just processing the card payment details of merchants and acquirers and customers. You could be a merchant as well, where you are just dealing with transmission of the card data, or you could be an actual bank where you are storing the card data. So by card data, I mean the card basic the card the details that you're offering. The card details comes as a PAN, the card number, the expiry date, and the CVV. So CVV is also called sensitive authentication data, through which the internet card shopping is being done, and those things have to be encrypted in transit, and they should not be stored. CVV should not be stored. So this is one big thing about PCI DSS. So PCI DSS is implemented on those organizations which are dealing with card data in real production environment. PCI SSF, that is applied on those organizations which are developing the software for payment industry. You could say my company, which is actually developing the software, but they're developing the software, and those software is not being used in production environment of my production environment. My company could be uh, a could become a company as well, which is dealing with the production environment, but then PCI DSS would be applied on my company. And if my company is developing those that software, PCI SSF is applied on them. I hope, Simon, I have given you the comparison of PCI DSS and PCI SSF. you. My, that was my pleasure. Uh, I have given my LinkedIn and my Twitter. The username is the same, so you could contact me over there if you would like to. Once again, I would like to thank B-Sites Calgary. Yep, that's right, Sharifat. It has all the details. There are four levels of compliance requirements for merchants, depending on the number of transactions per year. Yeah, you're so right, Sharifat. If I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yeah, there are four levels of compliance requirements, and then there are multiple level of what you. Thank you, Sharifat. So you're absolutely right. There are four levels of compliance requirements, along with the level of the the card payments that you're dealing with. Once again, if you are a small company dealing with cards, if you want my recommendation, go for PCI compliance. You would be safe. At least you would be safe. You won't become another name in history, and your name won't be shared in a presentation like mine or any other person. So it's good to be sharing your knowledge on security community, but if you become a history, then it really gives your company a bad reputation. So I would definitely say yes. You should go for PCI compliance. Right. Um, any other question? Thank you, Darcy. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Um, Dorian, should I leave right now? If this is my first time in Calgary, I do not know the customs and everything. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Dorian. Thanks a lot. Uh, would this presentation be shared publicly, or am I at liberty to share this presentation to my social media if needed be? Thank you, Dorian. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for the audience who have been bearing me, who have asked me questions. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure to be at B-Sides Calgary.